This is Jim Hutchins for the Jerusalem Connection Spot Report for this week. It appears the Obama administration has a scapegoat du jour. That is to say, for this season, at least temporarily, they have a scapegoat that is going to some way handle the terrorist attack that took place in Libya. And that scapegoat is evidently UN Ambassador Susan Rice. You'll recall that some 6 days later, I think it was, during all the Sunday news shows, she was trotted out at, and I would say someone authorized that with a higher pay grade than she is. And she had said that all the intelligence supports it was a spontaneous uprising, and that it was spurred on by this video that was a caricature of Muhammad. Well, this is still being discussed and investigated, and we've not heard the last of it. And very likely there's going to be some serious results that come out of this. But at the same time, they've tried to refocus this, the Obama administration. Scapegoat is still the same, and Susan Rice has been trotted out to refocus this, to get it off of Libya. And as you might guess, the target of choice is Israel. They've become a co-scapegoat. And just this week, Susan Rice said this: "The U.S. does not accept legitimacy of Israeli settlement activity and will continue to oppose any efforts to legalize these outposts." She said the fate of existing settlements must be dealt with by the parties along with other permanent status issues. And then she says this: Israel should step up its efforts to deter, confront, prosecute anti-Palestinian violence and extremist hate crimes. That's what Israel should do. Nothing about what Hamas or Hezbollah or the ongoing declaration to exterminate Israel on the part of Iran. So this is, she's come out and she's making this statement out of nowhere. That's not even an issue. It's an irrelevant issue as to what's going on. And as a matter of fact, she has declared a refutation against the Levy report. This is a report that was chaired by the former Justice Edmund Levy. And the Levy report basically says, according to international law, Israelis have the legal right to settle in Judea and Samaria, and the establishment of settlements cannot in and of itself be considered illegal. It says our basic conclusion is that from the point of view of international law, not Israeli law, not American law, international law, goes back to right after the First World War when these declarations were made. According to the point of view of international law, the classic laws of occupation as set out in the relevant international conventions cannot be considered applicable to the unique and sui generis historic and legal circumstances of Israel's presence in Judea and Samaria over the course of decades. Now, there's no question that according to international law, Israel has a right to the land that was mandated to them, and Britain was the custodian of that mandate for several years. But this says nothing about what God says about the land and who the land belongs to. For example, in Psalm 105, verse 8, it says, "He," that is God, "remembers his covenant forever, and the word he commanded for 1,000 generations. The covenant he made with Abraham, the oath he swore to Isaac, he confirmed to Jacob as a decree, to Israel as an everlasting covenant. To you I will give the land of Canaan as the portion you will inherit." And then the prophets, all of the prophets, speak of the land promises and who those promises are made to. For example, Prophet Amos says in Amos chapter 9, "I will bring back my exiled people Israel. They will rebuild the ruined cities and live in them. They will plant vineyards and drink their wine. They will make gardens and eat their fruit. I will plant Israel in their own land, never again to be uprooted from the land that I have given them, says Yahweh your God. Now, regardless of what the UN says, regardless of what any administration of this government says, God has declared that Israel belongs to the Jews. And he's not changed his mind. He's not stuttered. His statements are unequivocal. So we praise the Lord for that. God will have the last word. Till next week, Od Ki Yavo Shiloh, or until Messiah comes, Shalom Aleichem.